Good morning, students. Today we are going to study about the TCP/IP model. This is one more model. Like earlier, we have studied about the OSI model, Open System Interconnection. Uh, this is a similar model which was designed for the communication. And in this topic, we are going to cover all the details about the model, its origin, its layers, functions, merits, demerits. Various points will be covered in today's topic. So let's start with TCP/IP. Now TCP, that is the transmission control protocol, and IP means the internet protocol. These two are the most important protocol which are going to be used in this model for communication. This model was actually developed by the Defense Research Agency of USA. It was mainly designed for the military purpose, for communication in the various military networks, and later on this was handed over to the government for the public usage. So as it was designed for the military purpose, this model was robust to failure and flexible to diverse network. That is, it was designed in such a manner that it could handle any critical and any harsh condition. It will provide you the communication without dropping the connection. So this model was designed in such a way that it can be used in any rough and tough situation. Earlier it was the earlier model OSI, which we have studied in the last lecture. It was a generalized model, and earlier it was including the telephone line network. That is, the communication was done using the leased telephone line networks. But later on, as the technology increased and it included the radio network, the satellite networks for the communication, then that model was not sufficient for that purpose. So there came the need to design a new model. So the scientists took this model as the further usage for the various diversing technology increasing in the communication system. So mainly TCP/IP was designed for to fulfill these three main goals. First one was the ability to connect multiple networks seamlessly. That is, the number of networks in this outer world is increasing day by day. So we needed a network which could connect to them seamlessly, which can connect to any number of network at the same time. Also, it should survive the loss of subnet without breaking the existing conversation. That is, if by chance due to some reason the communication is going on and the network loses it, then it should handle that loss of network, connect to the next network without dropping the conversation. Like in telephone calls, we say that the call drop should not be there. Call drop is a very rare thing that happens. Same was the case here, that they required a model which does not cause further any loss of conversation. And the third main goal was to have a flexible architecture. Like the technology is inventing day by day. Each day we are coming facing a new technology or something new than the last week what we have studied. So we needed a network, a model that can accept all the new technologies that are coming in and handle them flexibly. So these three were the main goals that were not satisfied by the OSI model, and hence there came the need for a new model. So TCP/IP came into role here. Now for TCP/IP, actually TCP/IP is just a simple naming and addressing scheme that it mainly provides the name to the data packet. What the name? Mainly the physical addresses of the sender receiver, and just make them reach the receiver side with best possible route. So their main aim was to have that connection between the sender and receiver, and make the data sent without any error control, flow control, congestion control. These are the main criteria that TCP/IP fulfills. So here we can see a comparison between the OSI and the TCP/IP model. TCP/IP is also a layered model having various layers, but the two layers, that is the presentation layer and session layer, are not present in the TCP/IP model. These two layers were not of much use. They were not used for many of the communications. So they designed this model, removing these two layers and the least four layers, that is the host to network, internet layer, transport layer, and application layer. These four layers were enough for having the communication between the sender and the receiver. Further in this presentation, we are going to study about this layer, all the layers. Now, the first one is the host to network layer. This host to network layer, you can also call it as the physical layer. Like in OSI model, we were having the physical layer. Similar is here the host to network layer. So its function is similar to the physical layer. It has to maintain a physical connection through which the data will be transmitted from the sender side to the receiver side. So this layer helps in the physical connection, and the protocol used in this layer are ARPANET, SATNET, packet radio, etc. Now these protocols, we have to study them differently in other topics. Here we are not going in much detail about these protocols, but you can remember the name of the protocols that are used by this layer to send the data. So here we have understood that how the physical layer maintains the physical connection between the sender and the receiver, and then it transmits the data through the various networks. Yeah, so this internet layer, as I have said, that it is the most important layer of this model. It allows the host to insert the packet into any network and make them travel independently to their destination. That is, the internet layer converts the message into packets. These packets travel through the network. They can take up any route in the network and reach the destination. Each packet can take any different route. It doesn't require the same route for all the packets to travel, and therefore the order of packet that will be received at the receiver side will be different from those sent by the sender side, because every packet is taking a different route. Whichever route is available, it will take it and reach to the receiver side. So the order will be different. The receiver has to then take care of rearranging the order of the packets into the original form as the sender has sent. So for this function, the internet layer uses internet protocol, that is IP protocol. This protocol provides a particular format that is known as a packet format. The data is given in that packet format using the internet protocol, and then this packet travels to the network. So this packet contains the information about the address of the sender and the receiver. So thus this layer also helps in routing of packet and the congestion control. That is, it is handling the routes of the packet through which they are traveling, and also the congestion control also, like when to send the next packet until and unless the first one has reached this receiver side. So in this way, it helps in congestion control and routing of packets also. So these are the main functions that are handled by the internet layer. Now above the internet layer, we are having the transport layer. Transport layer is also similar to the transport layer of the OSI model. Like in OSI model, we have studied the transport layer. It was handling the transportation of the entire data from the sender to the receiver side. Same is the case here in the TCP/IP model. This layer is also performing the same function as the OSI model. It helps in the it helps the peer entities both at the source and the destination to converse with each other. So in this transport layer, two protocols are mainly used, that is TCP, transmission control protocol, and UDP, user datagram protocol. These two protocols are mainly used in the transport layer. Now this TCP is a connection oriented protocol. Since it's depending on the connection, so it's a reliable protocol. It's a reliable connection oriented protocol, because since there is a connection, there is a 100% guarantee that the data will reach the receiver side. So therefore it's known as the reliable connection oriented protocols. And it thus helps in error control also. And UDP, that is user datagram protocol, it is a connectionless protocol. It doesn't set up a particular connection, so therefore it's considered as an unreliable protocol because there is no connection. It is connectionless protocol. So UDP is mainly used for transmission of those data in which it is not necessary, or the delivery guarantee is not accurate delivery guarantee is not required. So in those cases UDP is used. So this was the function of the transport layer. Now the next is the uppermost layer, that is the application layer. Application layer is also similar to the OSI layer. This layer mainly handles all the higher level protocols such as the virtual terminal, file transfer, electronic mails, DNS, HTTP, NNTP. These are the various protocols. These protocols we are going to study in the other topic, but these all are the higher level protocols that help the application layer to deal with the user side also, and the data which it receives from the transport layer also. Like at the receiver end, the transport layer gives the data that it receives to the application layer, and then application layer converts it into a format that is suitable for the user in whatever format that is required. So therefore these higher level protocols that are user friendly or application friendly, they are used by the application layer. Now we have seen that how TCP/IP is working, and what are the layers, how they are functioning. So here we are in a position now to compare both the models, that is the OSI and the TCP/IP, that what are the differences and how they are working with each other. So here we can say that OSI model, that was a theoretical model that was created theoretically, that how it should deal, what way it should work, it was all a paperwork. And TCP/IP is the application implementation of OSI model. That is, when you go in the real world and you try to implement that thing which you have read theoretically, then you come up with more pros and cons that are not available in the book. Then you have to work accordingly and to find some or more way to make it fit in the real world. So TCP/IP is the implementation of the OSI model, that is the realistic or the practical model which can work actually in this original world. Now this other comparisons, like OSI is having 7 layers, TCP/IP is having only 4 layers, and it is TCP/IP is considered as a more reliable model. Of course, it's more reliable because it is designed in a manner that it will support the communication in the real world, and OSI is considered as a reference tool. Means all the information is given about that in the uh, OSI model, so it can be considered as a reference tool. And in OSI, we have seen that how protocols have been strictly formatted, or how they are given a particular boundaries, that this protocol will work in this, with this will work in this. Whereas in TCP/IP, the protocols are not strictly defined. Means they work according to the situation. However, whatever the situations come, the protocols work accordingly. And then as I have earlier said, that there is a separate session and presentation layer in OSI model, but actually when you go for the real communication in the world. These two layers are not of much use. So in TCP/IP, they have combined both the layers, and they are performing a combined function rather than giving them a separate layer. And this OSI was designed earlier. At that time, the protocols were not developed properly, so it was having some problems to fit those in that model. And TCP/IP was, you can say, that implemented after the inventions of developments of protocols. So protocols are very well fitted in this model rather than OSI. And you can say that OSI supports both connectionless and connection oriented, whereas the TCP/IP supports only the connectionless communication. So these are some of the important points. There are many more other comparisons that you can find even when you study both and compare both the models. So, but these were the main differences or the main comparisons between the two models. So here we end with our presentation with the TCP/IP, and you can have more points about this topic in various other reference books. But these were the main functionalities of this topic. Hope you got a clear view about this model. Thank you.